Must complete the cycle before midnight on All Hallows Eve, Devil's Night. A sacrifice of blood and soul.
What the fuck is this shit? It's not even washing off.
Here, drink from this chalice, and things will become much clearer.
What is that stuff?
It's an ancient family beverage, guaranteed to get the party started.
If I drink this shit, is it gonna get me laid?
Oh, but it will do much more than that.
Hey everybody, welcome to Bad Movie Night, a new special podcast we are calling this Garbage Day. Yes, and Garbage Day is an exciting new thing we're doing with myself, Chris, and Mark here. What do you guys think about this new podcast? New idea?
It's very different.
This is the first I'm learning of this new format.
Mark, is this
new title?
Is this the first time you've podcasted before?
I mean, have we done
we've done
have we done anything we've filmed in like
Battlefield Earth?
We did Battlefield Earth, but no one listened to that.
That's because this is a patron-only podcast.
And this is going to explode on the internet, obviously, Mark, because of the deep, sultry tones of our voice.
Yeah, we were looking at
we
doing.
Sound really good, and I've historically hated the sound of my voice.
Nice, you
in
sound great.
Recorded format.
Dude,
and I'm listening to myself right now talking.
That is
to this
crazy
because it sounds really good. Like,
I hated the sound of your voice too, and now hearing it in this, it's so good.
Right? No, it's I needed a better format.
Yeah, that's it. New format, trying something different. We're gonna watch some really horrible movies. Hence the title, Garbage Day.
That explains what we just watched. Okay,
yeah. And we're looking at ways to simplify things because we've been doing the video show for a while, and we'll probably continue to do that at this point in some way, but. It is a lot of work and it takes a lot of time. It takes almost 8 hours to edit one episode, and this should help kind of streamline some of that and give our audio listeners an opportunity to tune in.
Yeah, we are just shitting this thing straight out, uncut, uncensored, Mark.
I mean, we need the feedback from the audience to tell us where we're spitballing here.
Well,
okay, like it's been a year since we've filmed anything.
Let's not get too aggressive. We don't have an audience, so we'll.
We have a little bit.
The
pretend
listen to this. Yeah,
when,
okay. All right.
I don't know. Maybe AJ's mom, because we're shooting in her basement.
That's a great location.
Yes. No, that's the first.
This is where we started.
Really talk about. We are on site in the original start of the Bad Movie
Night Channel.
Yeah. This is where
how do you feel
began.
about that coming back?
I feel old.
Yeah. How long ago did we say this was?
8 years.
8 years. That's insane.
8 years. And we've known each other a lot longer. And it is weird because I have to travel into town.
Yeah.
Right.
And everything is so different now.
Yeah.
No, it's it is weird because how many places have we moved since starting down here? We did
a lot.
What the first 2 years?
We've been at just like different
AJ's
studios.
Mom's basement. Is that what we
were
in filming?
Nick's studio, Toby's studio for a bit. We jumped around.
Yeah. We were in Chris's garage.
Yeah.
The garage was the
The
garage is where it was the best.
Yeah,
right.
The garage was the best.
And it was. Yeah. No. You made it look.
I almost considered staying in the marriage just to keep the garage set.
That's fair.
It's. I mean, you wouldn't have made a wrong choice with it. I'm just based
priorities.
On that. Wouldn't have been a bad choice. But yeah, it is kind of weird. I feel a little out of place.
Yeah.
Sexually?
Or just in the space?
The space, yeah. No. I hope we're not like infringing on your mother.
My mom loves having
your saint of a mother.
What is your mom I keep walking. What is your mom doing right now?
She's reading a book. Earlier she was working on class material.
She hears everything.
You can't hear anything up there. I was up there earlier. It's really quiet.
I mean, that's good. Yeah. No, it's
because this movie was super perverted.
It was.
Super perverted.
Jeff Leroy, right? Let's talk about it. What is this called? The Witch's Sabbath?
The Witch's Sabbath.
2005?
Think so?
Yeah, we didn't know this was Jeff Leroy going in, which is actually
published 2005. I'm very. I feel like this
earlier.
movie is way more dated earlier, but published 2005.
But we are pretty good fans of Jeff Leroy, right? For the most part. right?
Well,
Would you say that?
You guys say that. I really liked Eyes of the Werewolf.
Yeah, it's a great movie. Early,
I like that
early
one.
Leroy.
I mean,
Mhm.
other than Eyes of the Werewolf and Werewolf in a Woman's Prison, what other movies have we seen?
Well,
by him?
what was the creature one that
watched-
was the last episode? That was good.
We watched one about bugs.
Yeah,
or
that was cool.
insect.
That was cool. Remember, Mark, and had like the models, and the city was getting destroyed by creatures.
Oh yeah, that was a really good
Yeah,
one.
he has some
they
good
were like
ones.
in mechs and stuff.
Now we
Right.
haven't watched Cat Scratch Fever, which
God,
was supposed to be a
that actually
classic.
was a
which we
really
should.
good film.
No, it's Rat Scratch.
Rat
Fever.
Scratch. That's it. Rat Scratch Fever. Thank you. We got to watch that.
Yeah, that
Everyone keeps
that
recommending that.
insect that was one of his like most recent films. The
Insect
bug
one.
one.
Yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
what it's
the mechs
called.
and stuff. That like was
was cool.
2019 or something. Yeah, that was like.
But you
Actually,
guys are forgetting Frankenstein in a Woman's Prison, which
Yeah.
I didn't think was very good.
Well, comparatively, I mean, when you peek at Werewolf, like where are you gonna go, man? That movie had everything. To be
Well,
fair.
There's a big dichotomy here between Werewolf in a Woman's Prison and these later films.
Okay.
In which case, I don't know if Jeff Leroy went through puberty and found himself and found his desire for women, but it became so perverted.
Yeah, they do get more
so
perverted.
quick.
Well, it
Yeah.
looks like it started right here.
This
Yeah,
is it.
If we can,
Yeah.
This is
if we want to dive into
this
this versus Eyes of the Werewolf,
Yeah.
which was
A classic,
his
yeah.
second film that he made.
Mm-hmm.
The first one we watched of his, but yeah, it's very different.
Well, Eyes of the Werewolf had storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
It had characters. It had incredible effects. And the thing that was actually fun about that movie was just the over-the-top acting and effects.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's fair.
And this is just lacking a little bit
Yeah.
of that.
Well, it doesn't really have much of a story, which is part of the problem, right?
Yeah. Well,
What is the story of
Yeah,
this?
why-
Can we talk through a little bit about this movie and concept?
Mark, why don't you tell us
what you think the story
what
is?
you think the story
That's
is?
good.
yeah, sure. So watching this film, I assumed it was about vampires, not even realizing they're talking about witches in the title. But we are introduced in the beginning of the film to a coven of witches who live in a very particular house.
They live in a suburban household in California.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, a suburban household in California with
Feels like a valley house a little.
Yeah, it does.
like a man door on
Yeah.
the front of it. that
They're
would
weird.
be
They're like
leading to
gaudy
like
houses,
a
right?
dungeon.
A man door?
Yeah.
What would you
just
call
like
the
a-
style of
like a-
architecture? A lot of these houses have like, some of the other ones had like double doors on them, but they're like small. They're like small McMansions a little bit. I don't know. They're weird. They're weird architecture, right?
McMansion's a good description.
Yeah.
It had like it made it look like kind
was,
of
like,
like a
some
like
Spanish
a Castilla.
flair.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like almost like a mini Castilla where it
Mhm.
had the Spanish
Like
like
archways.
like
There's some
the
flair.
sandstone
Yeah,
walls kind of
yeah.
thing. There's like a lot of just
It feels
like straight edges.
It's interesting,
There's a
'cause you're-
balcony in the front.
you're taking
There's-
that and you're mixing it with this like cheap gothic furniture and stuff, and it feels very weird because of
Do
that.
you think that house actually led to the set that they were filming
Oh
on?
wow, that's a good theory.
I mean, other than
Oh.
that door on the front of
Maybe
it,
not
I feel like they were just using that house because of that door.
the exterior?
Yeah,
That's
I
fair.
don't know what you're talking about with the man door.
The one giant door, with,
Why-
like the cage that
like
opens,
it's
you can
not
look
just
through
like
it.
a
It's a big
cookie
door.
cutter
It's a big
front
wooden,
door. It's
hard
like
door.
like a door to the side of like
Yeah.
the gatehouse on
Yeah.
a fucking like castle
It is a.
gate. You
it
know
is
what I'm
a-
talking about?
It's its own
Yeah,
character.
Like it's the side,
That's what they like.
but it's like a big heavy door.
Mm-hmm.
You would go around the side of like an establishment to like knock on the man door, the side door,
yeah.
and they would like pull open the slide
Yeah, it has one of
view
those.
thing, and it's like, what do you want?
That's called a man door?
That's a man door. Yeah.
So like I remember in Lord of the Rings when
Mm-hmm.
Frodo goes to meet what's his face? You know what I mean? Talking about at the inn, and he shows up at the town and he knocks on the door and the guy slides a little thing. Is
Yeah.
that a man door?
Well, was that the front door? Or was that the?
Well, it was like the front door to the town.
But it wasn't the gate.
He was like the front gate of the town. It was sealed up.
And there was
it's
like a small door in
You
that
never
gate.
seen Lord of the Rings?
It's
Peter
like-
Jackson's
I haven't seen
Lord of the-
Fellowship of the Ring.
So it's like
in about 20
a
years.
medieval kind of
It's-
inspired thing.
Yes,
a little bit.
Yes. No.
Yeah.
Which is kind of the architecture of this house.
Yeah.
Anyway, the set
Learn about
of
doors.
this house, or the set of this movie,
Yeah.
I don't believe was actually in this house.
That's fair. I felt like some of those furniture pieces felt like a room in the house, like the living room might have been, because it had some of those arches in the background and stuff.
They did have shots of like a kitchen in a house in some of these that maybe they borrowed from it, but everything else,
it felt
I don't think it was
felt
actually
like,
part of it.
Like the living room set felt like I was in Kat Von D's living room or something. Like it's a little like plasticky goth kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yes, which I'm sure they set up for the film.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like it had, the
Like fake furniture.
intertwining red
Yeah.
wallpaper with these like Victorian couches.
Maybe
that
it's
had-
because you guys just didn't come from money. But that's what, when you have money, that's what it looks like. Because
Well,
I've seen Trump's.
faux money.
Well,
all right.
it's
have
when
you
you
have you
whoa, whoa,
seen
whoa, whoa.
Kim Kardashian's
Guys,
mansion? There's like
No.
nothing in it.
You can
All
have
that's
money.
the new money.
You can have money.
Having
Minimalism.
nothing in your house is what real money is.
You can
about
have
now.
money, but it doesn't mean you
Wow.
have style or taste.
Well, no. The point of having money isn't to have style or taste. It's to rub that your wealth into other people and make them feel bad so you feel better.
That's true.
Mhm.
We have witnessed that.
If you are taking a shit in a toilet that is gold,
Yes.
your shit doesn't feel any better.
I
or
have
different.
photographed a gold toilet before in a mansion on Long Island.
You think your poop would flush better in a toilet made of gold than like porcelain? You think that's like a less like friction?
You think it's more efficient to
I'm
shit
just
in a
wondering,
gold
like,
I'm just
toilet?
saying, like,
how
do
does-
you think poop stains
Yeah.
are
How
on
No.
gold?
does
No,
that
I
hold
don't.
up?
Right
How does that
off.
hold up
No.
over time?
I gotta believe it.
Does that do anything to your skin sitting on gold that often? I don't know. Questions.
No,
answers.
because people wear gold rings all the time and their skin's fine.
That's fair. But I know like copper
It's like
and stuff
a,
can discolor.
It's a non-metallic
Yeah,
metal, so
yeah.
it's like a very neutral electrons and
Yeah, it
whatever
doesn't
the fuck
carry-
that means. I think it's
The problem,
doesn't carry
the problem,
you could
electric-
embed gold
Mark,
in your body.
the
and
problem
you'd
I
be fine.
have is that gold is not a very sturdy metal,
No.
and if you really take a power shit, and that thing hits the
Yeah,
porcelain, the
yeah.
base of the toilet with velocity, it could dent and potentially damage.
I mean,
the
I'm sure the
toilet
toilet's
itself.
made of other things besides just
In
gold,
enough
typically.
instances, yes,
Oh,
I feel
yeah.
like you could like
Well, yeah.
kind of like how like a trickle of water would carve a valley. You know what I'm saying?
Trickle-
Like, yeah.
You think that's
like,
the ultimate you've made it?
You would slowly make an indent in your golden
If you
toilet
are-
if you were like a power shitter.
Well, if
for
you're
sure.
eating lots of things that don't digest properly, like
Yeah.
corn, just corn's adding bulk to those turds.
Do you think like a gold toilet is like the sign that you made it to pure wealth?
Yeah, because you're literally taking a shit.
Because I know
on it.
like a Costco membership
You're
is like your sign of middle class wealth, but it's like the
Mhm.
ultimate like the gold toilet.
You're like, I'm so rich, I can just shit on this. Like, this is different than even burning money. This is I'm shitting on the money. I'm rubbing it in.
yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm peeing into this.
Yeah,
Wow.
no,
Why do you think
I,
Trump puts his sign up on fake gold lettering?
Yeah.
I mean, I think when you're starting to light your like cigars, your authentic Cuban rolled $1,000 per cigar with
See,
like $100 bill, that's when you've like.
I'm telling
really
you,
hit
this is
wealth,
already
right?
better
You're
than the
using-
video
You're
show.
using money. to
Well,
just
that's-
burn.
And that is like Bill
Things.
Gates. If he sees
Yeah.
like a $50 bill, he doesn't bend down because his time is worth so much more than
For sure.
bending down.
Oh yeah, no, that's absolutely true.
All
Which
right.
doesn't make any
No.
sense though, because it's not like he's actively putting ideas every day and implementing. It's all just like stocks. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, no, it's return on investment like portfolios
So,
and stuff like that. But yeah,
Let's curve back to the movie.
Oh
here.
yeah, the movie.
Yeah, what did you think of the storyline? What
Yeah, the plot.
Yeah.
So I put up the setting, this
Mhm.
old McMansion
Yeah.
Castilla place with this very gaudy inside, and it is filled with scantily
scantily clad.
women.
Scantily clad ladies.
Scantily clad ladies.
And you thought they were
and
vampires at first.
Well, they're dressed
Well-
kind of then they have that black.
I was
Puffy
getting
hair, you know?
getting vibes like
Yeah,
Brides of Dracula.
Yeah, a
vibes
little bit.
from them,
and from the house and set. and
Oh, I
stuff.
could see
Yeah.
I could see the Brides of Dracula.
But the first person in the house that we're introduced to is the butler.
Yeah.
What do you think his name was? I can't quite recall.
Jeeves.
Yeah,
Jeeves.
like that's the only
like a
butler
butler
name.
name. Right.
was Igor, something like that.
And when you have
Leatherface.
people come over,
Mhm.
do you even introduce your butler?
I feel like the butler is the past, like the person that connects you to the person. You know, you don't introduce your butler.
So
He
you're-
introduces himself.
You don't
typically.
you don't treat the butler as a person.
I mean,
You
not by
can.
first name.
I mean,
right?
a rich
You'd say
person
this,
probably
This
would.
is Mr. Igor.
Yeah.
So like
And the wealth would be like, did you like the help? That's what they probably refer the butler as, the help.
the help.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, he's Igor. He has coverings over his face, some sort of
Mhm.
deformities. He walks around.
Mhm.
Covering his facial
Like a
deformities.
mankind kind of
Yes.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a mankind.
He's disabled, I would say.
Yeah, maybe.
Walks with a limp.
He was an interesting character though. Like his silhouette and stuff is weird, right?
Yeah, I have a lot of questions, but I feel like if I ask him, it'll be offensive.
That's fair. Well, maybe just don't do that then. I think my problem with this movie too, and a lot of these movies, is like even like the costume stuff. It's so cheap. It's just like store bought Halloween stuff. It's not. There's no thought to it. You know, like his mask was like a $5 Amazon purchase.
Well,
you know.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's not like it was actual leather or anything
Yeah,
like
or it
that.
wasn't like
No,
someone like made
it's,
it, make it really cool.
Well, I mean, I feel like Jeff Leroy had two
Mhm.
main things he focused on in this movie.
Okay.
Well,
Breasts.
three, yeah, because one boob, two boobs, but yeah, breasts, and then like sometimes the gore.
Yeah, which was pretty
Yes.
cool at times
Yeah,
because
no,
we were
there
we
was
got
there
pumped
was some
about that.
good explosions of blood
Oh.
and prosthetics being ripped off of things. Yeah,
But the
I
setup,
enjoyed it.
the setup is these witches live in this mansion and they are sacrificing people to some kind of god with very little storyline and intel into what that is, which is part of the problem with the movie. We don't really know what's going on.
Not until the end.
Well,
Yeah.
But okay, let's just
And
talk
even
about
then, that really doesn't explain a lot. But
witches in general.
Yeah.
Do one form a coven,
Yes.
so a group of witches,
mhm.
Sure.
but they derive their power from the devil. Yes,
Depending on like the storyline, possibly. I
Or-
mean, like a pagan witch
or
would
a
probably.
demon. some
dark
sort.
magic.
Yeah, dark magic,
No, there's-
sure.
Dark
there's
magic.
something.
Yeah.
Well, okay, yes. I'm not talking like Wiccan
Sure.
religion. I'm talking like in fantasy, witches usually derive their power from
From
some
Satan.
sort of Satan or demon.
Sure.
Yeah.
And so
That's where we would go to think is happening.
to assume that they are making rituals and
Mhm.
providing sacrifices to some sort of demon god
Yeah.
in return for powers.
Yes, and they use some kind
immortality.
of glove. to do
However,
this. Yeah.
Their powers really derive from the plastic surgeon who did their breasts because that's all they used throughout the film to lure people
That's
and
true.
perform the rituals. even.
What powers are they
And,
getting?
I mean, what a really really big brain concept, right? Like
Yeah.
you're trying to draw like gullible people to their deaths. What better way than
Yeah.
to choose the patrons of a strip joint as your targets? Like,
yeah, Quentin
really?
Tarantino couldn't have written it better. Right?
no, this is like that was a really good.
Yeah.
Seriously, like thinking about it, like that's a good idea.
I mean,
No one's gonna miss these people.
it sounded like I was making a joke, but I'm not. Right?
Yeah,
Because every time,
Yeah.
the front is a strip club, in which
Yes.
case, which doesn't even make any sense because from point A to point B, so they
Yeah.
need to lure men back to their basement to perform the ritual.
Apparently, yeah.
Which we can talk in depth about what the ritual consists of, but the strip club is the way to get people to the basement. Yes,
the strip club is to lure potential victims
Yeah.
but
to their sacrifice.
the way of doing that is like, hey, we're gonna have a party
Come on over.
at the stripper's mansion after
Right.
Yeah.
after tonight.
Yeah, is this
Yeah.
supposed to be like a Playboy thing? Like, I don't
I don't
understand
know.
the lore here. And then I was questioning, like,
that makes sense.
well, what kind of dancer has a mansion and would be dancing in such a seedy club like this? You know what I mean? It's not like a nice place. It's like someone's basement. And the front of it's like a motel.
Yeah,
So it's not even like what I would call a classy place, right?
the strip club itself.
Yeah.
No, the strip
It's a
club.
dive bar.
It's a dive.
Yeah, so that's the other thing. It's like,
How much money's flowing into this thing?
yeah, and would you believe that they had a mansion if you were invited to it? I don't know.
No.
I would be suspicious.
It does really make me think of why they had a cover charge to get into this place if they're just looking for potential victims. Like, why make them?
Yeah.
Why bar the entry in a way if you're just looking for? But anyway.
Well, there's just a level of like, did you think about anything? Literally anything when you were making this movie. Yeah, when you were.
It is very thin, and that we were talking about that because like it took us a long time until like the third part of the movie to really understand if there was a storyline, what was happening, because we are introduced to like this couple in a very weird scene where the boyfriend is pretending to break in and assault her, which was also very weird.
Our leads.
Yeah, our leads, and that was like. We had to go back to them a few times in the story before we started to get any kind of plot, which was a long time. 20 minutes in, we didn't really have a plot of what was going on, right?
No, because the movie opened with like two guys going into the basement getting murdered. And then it opened with
a strip club again.
A strip club.
And then back to the basement again.
And then like a guy getting murdered in the strip club.
Yeah. And then we had Ron Jeremy's character too.
We had Ron Jeremy.
There's a lot of just like random murders happening.
Yeah.
So we didn't know what was going on.
There's no focus on these quote-unquote main characters.
There's not a lot of sets. It's really the strip club, the mansion, and then a little bit in this apartment. It's 3 sets, the movie. That's where they were the whole time.
Yeah, but the mansion does have an upstairs, like we were saying, which does look like somebody's actual house.
Yeah.
It's ugly, yes.
It's not my cup of tea.
And then the basement, though, if we're to believe that's a basement of that house, why does it look like a dungeon?
And why is it just sheets hanging up on walls? Well, I think what is literally happening is what is the strip club is probably the set for most of the movie, and they switched out and sheeted up for the dungeon.
Oh, maybe.
And like that corner room was just the strip club again.
So if you go over to someone's house that you haven't met, and they let you in the house, and then they come walking out, but they're wearing a shirt. No, they're wearing a shirt, but it's clearly see-through, and you see everything.
Mm-hmm.
How awkward is that? Are you supposed to like infer anything from that?
You are in California, and you might be in the Valley already, so there might be like a lot of just like nuance with that.
Like, Mark, what if it's like a guy and like you saw all of his testicles and stuff, but like he's just talking normal to you? You know what I mean?
Like a Seinfeld storyline.
Do you act like you can see them? Do you act like it's normal?
I think
you most people
have
would
to address.
You're like, yo,
the dangling fruit.
No, I think a lot of people would just like pretend it's not happening.
Yeah, you just pretend it's not happening.
Yeah, and awkwardness, where you excuse
Okay,
yourself.
Mark. Then
I mean, how well do I know this person?
Okay, so,
the first time I'm like meeting them, I'll never meet them again. Yeah, you say something.
All right, so
you're supposed to.
Okay, you walk into this guy's house. He's normal. He's wearing shorts and a shirt. Nothing weird. You sit down. He's like, let me get you some iced tea. He comes back with iced tea. He hands it to you. He sits down in the chair across from you, and when he sits, his testicle escapes from his shorts and hangs out. And the whole time, you're just talking about normal stuff. But do you address that? Like,
yeah, I would just say like, hey, your
he would
shorts
never
are,
fucking do that. He would never do that.
No, of course not.
Why
No one
wouldn't you
would.
say anything?
You would just keep looking.
I think you would probably excuse yourself from the
someone's
space.
genitals hang out of their pants.
Well, what if?
Yeah, because it's embarrassing for everyone.
What would you think their response would be?
I wanted it to hang.
Yeah, what if he like?
I think that's what a question would pertain to. Like, what is? Are you sexually assaulting me right now? Like, what is going on?
Yeah, seriously.
Like,
I'm laughing, but it could be a real reality for somebody.
No, I think if in that scenario, it's an accidental ball slipped off and like fell out.
I love these hard questions.
Regardless, you ask the question.
Yeah.
No, because then it's like, no, of course I didn't even know my testicle was hanging out. And then it's just super embarrassing. And then how do you continue your relationship
That's
on that?
true.
Are you saying
It's a rocky
like
start.
everyone who was
Rocky
killed
start.
in this film was because they just weren't answering the question?
Oh,
Like,
I'm just
why are you serving me a goblet of blood and you're wearing a see-through nightie?
Yeah.
And you have pentagons on the wall.
I think
what is
that,
going on?
I think also
or this is what they're thinking.
It's
They're
more
they can't.
believable,
They're too polite to ask.
they are, but it's also more believable because if you're a man and you already saw them at the club and you're going back to where they were and they were already wearing that, you might not question it as much, right?
Yeah.
I think in a real world scenario that would never happen. Someone would be dressed down at their house, obviously, but like in this fantasy,
the testicle scenario, I think Mark's approach.
you can't let this go.
I think if you say, "Yo, your testicles hanging out," that your relationship is over because he's gonna be soul crushingly embarrassed,
Yeah.
and you are too, and there's no way to.
Well, maybe he'd see
Continue
it
the
as like you're trying to
conversation.
like look out for the person. I don't know.
Well, yeah, I'll be like, oh, I'm so sorry.
I mean,
But then anytime you guys talk, all you're gonna think about is his testicle. That's all I'm saying.
I think it's a
You know,
good
sure, right?
opportunity to learn what the
rules
security
are.
of the relationship is.
Yeah.
If you bringing up his testicle hanging out of his pants
Ruins
Yeah.
the relationship.
ruins the relationship, then it's all right. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Maybe that was
it
what had
wasn't like a
happened.
lasting relationship in your life.
And I think
okay?
I think it's kind of like how you do it, where you're just like, yeah, and then we went there, and bro, dude, your testicles hanging out. But then after we did that, and you just like don't focus on
Yeah.
it. See, the way you wanted to do it was like, yo, are you deliberately letting your testicle hang out to entice me or not? That's
no.
that's
no.
crazy.
No, you have a very casual approach to
Yeah.
it, and you're
It has
just
to be
like,
relaxed.
yeah, no, you're not accusing anyone, okay?
I think we
But
got to move past this conversation
this
point,
person's
guys.
reaction is what will lead to, is this
Continuing the relationship or not?
no, like their intentions with it.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
AJ
If
says
it
we.
was-
AJ
If it
says
was
we.
just a simple mistake, it's a simple mistake.
Yeah.
AJ says
All right,
we
you-
have.
you
Mark,
can easily
Mark,
get
AJ
over
said
it.
we have to move on.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, let's go.
It'd be great to talk about the movie.
We are
so.
talking about the movie. That woman shows up,
Freaking movie,
and everything is
okay?
see through, and it's awkward
Well,
because do you
let's talk
address it or
about
not?
her. Let's
No
talk
one
about her.
Everyone is too polite in this mood to just say like,
Yeah.
That's
hey,
the problem
I
right
I
there.
don't think I'm gonna
Yeah.
follow you down this dungeon. You know, I'm just not feeling these vibes.
So what's
I think
the
I'm gonna
story?
leave, okay.
I have some questions. What's the story with
bless.
the main witch who is like the claw keeper?
Keeper of the claw.
Yeah, because she
Yeah.
she resurrects herself at one point, which confused me. Does she get any special
Very
powers with the
confused.
claw,
I'm
like a
so
power
fucking
glove? Like what is
confused in
this?
So there's a sequence in the film where she is like with Ron Jeremy. He's tied up, which I want to talk about Ron Jeremy a little bit, but he is tied up. And then she says something, and she walks over, and there's a bag, and it looks like a body part.
Mm-hmm.
And she pours blood on it, and then the bag smokes because somebody turns on the fog machine. The
Very
Max
heavy.
settings.
Very heavy. It just
Yeah.
flies right in.
Settings.
Yeah.
the Party City fog machine kicks into the set, and then next she bursts out of the trash
Yeah.
bag as herself, but this time with the claw, and her
Yeah.
eyes are black. So she
She
literally
transforms.
reborn herself.
I guess. Does she
Out of
have to do
trash?
that all the time? Because that's the only time she ever does that in the movie. And I was wondering if that's what happens when they murder people, is she's actually getting power reincarnated in some way. Like, that's why I was confused.
Yeah, I don't know.
Do you think they only had like one person to play two dark-haired people, and they're just like thinking,
Trying to pretend it's a
they're just
different
protecting
person?
It's like it's,
Oh my
it's two
God,
different people.
that'd be
There's like
terrible.
there's an upstairs,
I don't know.
the woman with black hair.
That was the most
upstairs, and
confusing part of the
woman
movie.
downstairs who has the claw.
Right.
Like it's two different people,
There's a-
but it's
The claw
the
was
same.
pretty cool, though.
There was a
The
lot of
claw was very
dark-haired
neat.
women with bad wigs,
Yeah.
so it got confusing.
It honestly, and it's not lit very well. So sometimes you can't tell what's really happening.
True.
I mean, like it's hard when we're really talking about it.
Mhm.
Two bad boob jobs. It's hard to discern differences in them. Like a bad boob job just looks like any other bad.
I mean, it's
boob
early
job. You
2000s,
can't
guys.
tell
You know?
the difference. I
Mark-
don't know.
Mark, that is all subjective.
Yeah.
Some people probably really enjoy that.
Yeah.
I thought it looked like there would be painful the way those were
Yeah.
done. It was
I don't know.
uncomfortable
A
looking.
little.
I want people to just be who they are. I don't.
Yeah,
bursting
Mark,
at the
Mark, I'm not
seams.
here to judge.
Yeah.
You can sit on your tower over there, your McMansion,
Yeah.
your gold toilet.
Yeah.
As you take a shit, you
Right.
can.
throw my
when you-
accusations.
When you have a
um,
gold toilet, then you can sit there and judge.
Yeah.
But do you have a gold toilet? I don't think so.
no go toilet.
But yeah, those things were
I
crazy,
just
Mark.
shit
I was
like
not
a-
on board.
We were worried for her health. So moving forward, you wanted to talk about Ron Jeremy's random character.
Well,
like
I
that.
wanted to talk about his chest
His-
hair, but I don't
He's
know if
in
we're
a lot
allowed to
of-
talk about
His
it.
inclusion in this
These
film
movies.
and the scenes he's in is very unique.
Yeah.
Because he's like the only person who hasn't been like lured to
And
the
it's
mansion.
sad to say is he seems to be the only
He
person
just shows up.
trying to act in the
See,
movie.
to me, I think there is.
I didn't want to say it while we were filming, but I was like, man, he actually is like really good with acting because of how bad everyone else is in this film.
Oh yeah, he does make everyone else look bad, which
He
is
looked,
crazy.
his delivery of his lines
Yeah.
were actually like
Pretty-
competent
yeah.
compared to everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
I do think there's a nugget of an idea here for a real movie.
Mm-hmm.
if you took like the format of The Burbs, but instead of like killer neighbors moving in, instead it's Coven of Witches.
That's cool.
But still played up in a comical horror
Yeah.
sense.
Ham it up.
Yeah, so like the husband could see them doing like a ritual out back or something, or like maybe a cat gets run over and then all of a sudden it's back because they resurrect, stuff like that.
Yeah, well, it is interesting because a lot of Jeff Leroy's movies, he uses a lot of comedic elements that generally work well for the movies.
Yeah.
Right? It makes it fun.
Somewhat. I don't know if that's I don't know if that's from his script or if it's just the nature of the music being super cheesy, it looking terrible, and the acting being so over the top and bad combined can sometimes lead to really fun stuff.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like it's not intentional, I guess.
Well, this wasn't a high effort movie compared to like, as we talked about some of his other movies.
Werewolf in a Woman's Prison is high effort.
Yeah, that's top tier.
Even though it
No,
is
that
still
was-
if
very perverted.
you're listening to this, you should go watch Werewolf in a Woman's Prison is pretty amazing. Like for gore and like action and like absurdity.
And what's
it's
crazy is that
amazing.
it came out, or at least it was published,
Yeah.
a year after this movie.
Well, there was
came
a lot
out, and they're
more
just like
time
two
in that.
completely different like
movies.
tiers of movies.
Yeah.
I don't know if that just comes down to like a producer driven
Yeah.
like budget constraints
Or special
and stuff
effects
like
expert, that kind of
or-
thing.
Yeah, but it's
Because the
just
amount of
like-
gore in that movie was insane. There had to be like 30 different deaths that were all very unique. With
Yeah.
this you have just a couple heads getting ripped off or something.
This is much more low effort. It's definitely low effort.
But there is some good moments. Like the spinal cord was pretty cool. That was a cool gory moment. The head
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
pretty decent. I feel like most of them were just like
more simplistic.
yeah,
with, like,
this,
blood
the
and
black-haired
stuff.
woman with the glove grabbing him around the neck, and
I do
her
like
head just kind
arms
of popping off in
ripping
a
off.
comical way.
Well,
Yeah.
let's talk about their ritual. So they have to we do learn by the end of the film they have to sacrifice 666 people before the
All
witching
Hallows
hour or
Eve.
All Hallows Eve or
Yeah.
something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Doesn't specify what year, but I assume it's meant to be that Halloween.
It seemed like they were. At the end of the film, it was Halloween,
Okay.
or a Hallows Eve. Like
Yeah.
that was the evening of All Hallows Eve.
What is the actual ritual?
So until the end of the film, I feel like they weren't actually performing ritual.
But they did at the beginning of the movie, and they did with Ron Jeremy,
Okay.
right?
They
Were those
had
not
them tied
rituals?
up. Yeah, but like with the end, they were drawing the
Oh, the sigils.
symbols and the sigils, and then they're down in the basement in the actual pentagon of the witches, and there's like actual seances and shit going on or whatever.
Yeah, but
In all the other scenes, it's just someone tied up or
Yeah, but Mark, remember, we know when a ritual is successful because they have the head and it catches on fire.
yes.
So then I think that means that was a successful sacrifice to the Lord, to the demon Lord.
And maybe it's because they're the final sacrifices at the end of the movie for.
Why did it just say trash?
It's just talking.
Why did it say mark and trash?
Trash mark?
You can mark these as you go. Sorry.
Why did you just mark it?
I just wanted to see where we were on and make sure everything was okay.
Why did it call me trash?
I don't think anyone can hear that, but yeah. But
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Is it giving like?
There are options on the bottom.
It's
when I
giving
don't have the screen on.
feedback like you're being trash, Mark.
Mark's
Right,
trash.
Do a
Well,
better job.
okay, so I think
Mhm.
I thought the ritual consisted of you take someone down. You first
Yeah.
you have to entice them
Yeah.
sexually. It seems they bring them downstairs. Then they start their erotic dances.
Yeah. Does that do anything for them to get powers? Like, is there a reasoning for that? It seems like really unnecessary.
Yeah, I don't know.
So in the beginning, the two people that arrive at the two guys that arrive at the mansion, are they
Yeah.
down in the basement? When
Yeah,
they're
they
getting the lap
eventually go
dances,
down.
Yeah, they
or
go
are
down
in the
above?
basement.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
The
I
dungeon.
don't know. The one chick who followed along with the group at the end and was like, "I'm not going to be part of this," was just sent down to the basement and instantly killed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there was really no rituals involved.
Gotta
They
cut
were
out the
just, like,
riffraff,
They were
Mark.
just
Yeah,
sacrificed
yeah.
right away.
Yeah.
I'm guessing they
But-
counted
but
towards
what do
the
you-
sacrifice totals.
Well,
so
we have the leader witch, right?
Mhm.
The dark-haired brunette one who
Yeah.
dresses in the crisscross kind of
Oh, man.
leather
Strap.
brown
It was-
straps.
it looked
lingerie,
interesting.
Yeah.
Then you have the one woman who they constantly get her boobs out.
Yes, I felt so bad.
Like she
for
says
her.
nothing, but that's all she's there.
Yeah,
Like
she's just there to have people
right.
take her clothes off.
And then you have two other ones who never say anything or do anything.
Not too much. I mean, later at the end of the movie, you get a little more time with them. But
I think they were on the pole a couple times throughout the film, so they were part of the dancing ensemble.
Yeah.
But yeah, they weren't.
It's a strange
very
film because like
involved.
that's the
other than
storyline.
just standing
right?
around.
That's it.
But so we mostly follow the witches more than we do our protagonists, for one.
Yes.
But we don't know what their struggle is or their conflict is. We just know that they are sacrificing people.
Yeah, that's why I mean. There's no story here. There's nothing that explains anything.
Yeah.
And that was the frustration with this movie. I feel like this is the thinnest script of a Jeff Leroy movie we've ever come across.
What about
What
about the only expose that they present in this film of the flashbacks for the woman?
Yeah, that was
and
confusing.
As a kid,
That was so
Our lead.
confusing.
how does
Yes.
that play into this movie
I
at
didn't
all?
well, we were confused because the flashbacks would occur with the lead thinking about this scenario, but the child, which we learn is supposed to be her, looks nothing like her. I believe the child's like a Spanish descent. It just doesn't make any sense. Right?
Fun fact, when I was a baby,
Yeah,
I had bright blonde hair.
that's fair. But I think for the audience,
And I was of Spanish descent.
Did you have like dark skin?
No, I did. No,
But it was very
Skin-
confusing
it
to
was
us because we
confusing,
didn't. I didn't even understand if that was supposed to be her or if that was someone else having the flashback. Like I didn't.
yeah, it
I
was
didn't
confusing.
Connect it.
They intersplice that in this film
Yeah.
like 4 or 5 times, and
Yeah.
it has no I don't. It doesn't explain anything by the
No.
end of the film.
I think it
don't
fucking does.
understand.
I think you guys
I
are
have
full-
no
Does it-
fucking idea
is the
of what
story
that had to do
well,
with this story.
No, it doesn't because we thought
You're wrong.
what I thought was happening with this flashback is that she was taken from her mom and given to witches to become a witch.
Bingo.
Yeah,
But that never comes back at any point in the movie.
Yeah,
so
it does.
It doesn't make any sense. How does it come back?
Okay, the end of the movie,
Mhm.
she shows up at the house. She remembers it. There's a flashback there. She
Okay.
knows this house from her past.
Okay.
What is happening when she's in the basement and there's that circle of magic powers protecting her?
Okay.
What
she's
is
not,
that?
She's
What is
not
that?
being.
What's
She's
that?
being imprisoned. That's
Exactly.
That's the witches.
Exactly.
No,
This
that's
makes
not
any
her
Wrong.
sense.
powers. That's
Wrong.
Why did they try to kill her then if she was a witch like them and they knew that?
No, they were going to sacrifice her like anyone
And
else was.
Through the whole movie, they do never mention that she was a witch.
No.
They just said that she was just some girl with the
She
other
was
guys.
stuck in
Yeah.
that pentagram like as
Yeah.
a sacrifice
Guys,
and
do
couldn't
we
get out
not-
because of the witch magic.
Do we not?
Not her magic.
Did we not see the end of the film where she is now the evil demon lord?
So that's
Yes.
that's a super stretch.
Yeah.
As like she has been chosen by this
Yeah.
this otherworldly
She's
demon
just living out
as
her
the
fantasy
new,
that she
or
wanted.
is she just like, was she chosen to do that? Like, this is what was going to happen all the time, or she just happened to be the last victim alive
Yes.
and has
and
now
we don't
been
even know if that was a real
become-
moment because she has fantasies of dancing on stage too previously in the movie. So I don't even know what is real.
That sequence where she had a fantasy of dancing on stage was because she was betwixt by the witch on the stage looking at her.
But if she was a
Using
witch
her-
herself,
So-
like,
She's
what?
a-
That
and-
doesn't-
and
no,
she- wouldn't the other witch pick
and it
that up?
all makes
She's
sense.
being lured in like any other victim would have. It has nothing to do with her
Nothing
being a
to do
witch.
with
She
Because
isn't a witch.
None of the other victims saw themselves stripping on the stage.
I think
we
it's
just
a
weren't
stretch.
privy to seeing what their fantasies were in the time.
I hear what
Like,
you're saying. Like that would
like-
make sense in a sane person's mind, but in this script and story, I don't think that was intentional.
Well, let's go through the story a little bit more because we do.
I mean,
we
it
are.
had to tie into something. I just don't think Jeff actually
He got a
wrapped it
little
up.
distracted.
He
He
didn't
got-
wrap
he
it
got
up
a little-
anyway.
He had a little too much fun.
He
in these
forgot
scenes.
there
He
that was
built
even involved in the film.
That
but, yeah.
that
We
strip
understand.
strip. What's it called? Strip stage, stripper pole.
Sin and Skin.
Is sin and skin. The
The
stripper
club.
pole not attached to anything. Very
No,
wobbly.
Very wobbly.
Yeah. Oh my God. That's a safety
health
hazard.
violation, health code violation.
Oh,
or something.
across the
Yeah.
board in that place.
I mean, you could take out that stripper stage and someone would shut that down on health violations.
Yeah.
They would walk in there
Yeah,
and be like,
yeah,
all right,
no,
we're shutting
just-
this
just
fucking
on-
down. I'm
just
kidding. Like,
a glance of the room.
What I did think
this
was,
lap dance room is covered in blood. We're shutting it down.
what I did think was weird when we are introduced to the sin and skin stripper building or whatever.
Yeah.
There's a woman who's like it seems like she's running the place. She's out like yelling at the guy about
Yeah, right. She's
the bouncer. She's like managing the place.
Yeah,
but she's
the muscle.
She's completely unaware that the entire
she's just apparently a regular employee.
Yeah, and all the other employees are witches. She's unaware of this.
Okay.
What's weird though
strange.
is they sacrifice her eventually.
Yeah, I thought they were
after being like a loyal employee.
Right?
Like, come on.
I thought they were going to
like
convert her, which would be
right?
way
No,
more
like,
cool of a storyline.
See, this is why you never
trust your boss.
Well, like if you've ever worked in corporate America, you would know not to trust a vampire lord either. They're never going to turn you. They're just fucking using you like all the corporations do. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No.
They're just
very
sucking
true.
your soul.
No, they're
and everything else
they're
they
just
can get out
taking
of you.
advantage of
Taking advantage of you.
everyone involved in their operations, right down to the person manning the door.
What's the upside of this witch thing? Like, what are they getting?
I don't understand that. That's because we don't know. They don't. Do they get eternal youth? Because it doesn't seem to be working out very great. If that's the case,
internal youth.
Like I don't know. We have no idea.
Mark, would you become a stripper for eternal youth?
If you were a stripper, what would be more enticing than eternal youth? You never get old.
Oh shit,
that's true.
You never get, saggy.
Yeah,
you
I mean
never,
that makes complete sense.
You will always be beautiful and in your prime.
It's an easy decision, is what you're saying.
And you're a witch, so you're like sucking the life force from your victims that you're dancing for.
So Mark,
like, that's got to be the perfect.
If a warlock came up to you and he's like, "I can make you young," like I can make
warlock comes up to me and his balls are hanging out.
He invites you over. He sits down. His testicle falls out, but he doesn't know it. But he says, "Mark, I can make you 30 years old looking again for eternity. You just have to strip at the Sin and Skin 4 nights a week and occasionally do a human sacrifice." Would you do it? How do you approach that conversation?
I wouldn't say it's not enticing. I mean, eternal youth.
I feel like the sacrificing would be hard.
You just get used to it.
I mean, for never aging, I would do a lot of things.
I mean, if it's an art form, the dancing and stuff, I just feel like you'd have to get past the sacrificing would be hard at first, I would think. If you're not the type of person that wants to murder people.
I got to tell you, if I had to choose who to sacrifice, like the patronage of a strip joint would be the first on the top of my list. Of like, all right, like if I gotta kill unsavory people, they would be.
It's not gonna be a Trump rally.
What makes the patronage of a strip what's the place called?
Have you ever been to a strip club?
I've never been to a strip club.
Have you not seen
You have
who
never
was
been
in
to
the strip
any
club
kind of strip
in
club?
this
No,
film? Like,
I do not understand.
they were doing
the
a
appeal
world
of a strip club.
a favor by like killing these people.
I just feel
let's
like
be honest.
The bigger problem is you're killing people. People are going to come looking for them. So the chance of you getting away with murdering people in the same location over and over again is thin. It's not going to happen.
Use your witchcraft. You're like, there are no murders.
Is that part of the magic?
There are no droids.
We can do that? Okay.
They should be able to use some sort of magic. Otherwise, I guess you said
they're bewitching people on stage.
We're missing some magic elements to this movie that could be more helpful to a story.
But outside of the witches, we have our protagonist, which is the young couple. And the whole reason they get mixed up into this mess is because the boyfriend loves going to the strip club with his friend, and he wants to bring his girlfriend there.
Sure. I don't think that's uncommon, though. There are women that go to strip clubs often.
Sure, but if your partner is like addicted to going to the strip club,
well, that's a different story. Yeah, I'd say that's an abusive relationship at that point. If he's enticing you to join in his addiction, that is bad for him. Yes.
Kill him.
I was curious about the beginning of the movie
and
how they're. Well,
I was kind of hoping that's how it was going to end. What? The female protagonist becomes a witch and sacrifices her boyfriend or whatever.
Oh, Mark, I got a question for you.
Yes.
Have you ever stood outside the window of your house in a ski mask and jumped through and pretended to assault somebody as a joke?
No, I think that's maybe taking it a little too far, AJ.
I didn't really find that funny. Was it supposed to be funny in the writing? I guess in the early 2000s, maybe it would have been. I don't know. It's weird, right? Is it supposed to make us hate this guy more than we already do?
I called it. It's just fake tension that the director put in there as like another scare scene, even though like who in their fucking right mind finds this shit scary? Do you know what I mean? Nothing about that.
I think a woman would.
No, this movie though.
Oh,
like
yeah.
No.
Oh, yeah.
No, I mean like real life scenario that is scary.
The director's like, how can I introduce these two characters while having an aspect of tension and like manufactured tension?
Yeah,
and
I just think it was a interesting choice.
But they build that like they immediately set up the the dichotomy of the relationship is not good.
Yeah,
they're arguing. He's scaring her. She's annoyed. He's a guy who wants to take her to the strip club. She's okay.
And then she pulls her friend into this nightmare, and her friend doesn't understand why. You know, her friend doesn't even want to be here in these spaces with her, with these people.
Her friend was the only reasonable person in the film.
In the movie,
in the film.
I mean,
so you latch on to her, and you're like, oh my god.
Maybe Jeff's direction with these characters was not to make them likable for a reason.
Why?
You know? I mean, they all got sacrificed at the end. They all died. Like, don't add any sort of attachment
Did they all
to
die
them.
at the end? What about the boyfriend? Did he die?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he got eaten.
Oh, he got
by
eaten by
the tentacle monster. Yeah,
the tentacle monster was badass.
Oh,
The
man,
tentacle monster was the
God.
best part of the film.
Secret weapon.
That
there.
reveal was actually like
if
worth.
Yeah,
that reveal was worth the shit.
I think we'd be
that
a
we
lot.
had to sit through to get to it.
We would be a lot harder on this movie if we didn't have that moment at the end.
Oh yeah.
What was the tentacle monster?
Well, he was the
he's like Krang,
the being
right?
that they
Like
were sacrificing.
Ninja Turtles.
Krang.
He's a
He's
Krang.
Krang.
Yeah, from Ninja Turtles a little bit. He's like the brain, but he's stuck
He's
to
a
the wall.
basement Krang.
Yeah,
He's
Yeah. It's good, right?
Yeah.
instead of being in that like automaton suit, he's like just comes out of the wall.
So cool. So this is an origin story.
Yeah, if you took like Krang and you spliced him with like a sea creature of some kind.
Yeah,
like
like
that's-
Hulu
he did give me
balance
sea creature vibes.
Yeah.
he looked like that anglerfish kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Dude,
That's what
cool.
his face looked like. But
Now-
yeah, it was really neat.
It was very
much
cool.
like the coolest part of the film, the neatest use of like practical props in this
Was
film.
that, yeah.
It was.
Well,
And the introduction of it was
let me-
amazing.
Let me ask you this. Would you rather have 2 arms or 6 tentacles? Or maybe even 8 tentacles.
I mean, do I have to live in like normal society?
Am I living in the walls in the basement of
Yeah,
this?
what-
No,
what-
yeah,
yeah.
you're just normal society, and people accept it. It's not a weird thing.
Oh, then totally tentacles.
You'd rather have 8
The
tentacles?
things you could do,
Like what, though?
the reach.
But you don't have hands.
Yeah,
I could-
you don't have.
I could sit in my chair and reach all the way upstairs to my fridge and get a drink out.
No, your
I'm-
tentacles they're not forever.
They go pretty
tentacles.
long. man.
I would say your digits are kind of like tentacles, right?
I
So
would
if
be
you have
worried
8
about, like-
tentacles,
It's still less than
you
your fingers.
have it's less than your fingers. You don't have the dexterity of your fingers. to,
I'd be
like, do
worried
stuff.
about like, do you get sick often?
No, you could
Or
like
do you get,
you know,
bacteria.
I don't
which is pretty cool.
Oh my
but-
god!
Well, that's where your mind's going.
Jeez.
I'm more about like, how
You
do
don't
you
even
keep
have
the
a
things
fist.
clean?
You have a tentacle
That's
mark.
what I'm saying.
How do you keep them clean?
Tentacle fist.
Well, that's where a lot of the tentacle stuff goes, unfortunately. But yes.
Yeah, Martin, you watch way too much Japanese pornography or
I
whatever
mean,
that hentai. Is
You
that what
guys
it is?
made me watch that film, right? That wasn't.
We expanded Mark's mind, and now it's open.
Now
I'm just
now I'm
saying-
stuck. Right,
fair.
I'm addicted.
Hey, I get it.
I think that creatures with tentacles mostly use it
Yeah.
for mobility purposes, but you would still
Okay.
have legs and feet
Are
to
you
move.
walking on those things and like raising your body
I
up?
don't know.
Because he's just kind of stuck on the wall, so we weren't really sure. What was
Yeah, he's just
happening.
stuck on the wall. He doesn't even have like
Yeah.
what is the backside of that thing look like?
I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine.
Extends for eternity.
I think tentacles are
Into
only
the
ideal when you're
abyss.
in water, like an octopus would have. Like for movement, you'd have to be around about water or some kind of liquid.
I find it annoying that now we have to beep Mark out because he had to talk about fisting.
Yeah, that's got to be a time consumer for sure.
Sorry for the radio edit.
Yeah, this was fun. Anything else you want to mention about
No,
this movie?
this was not fun. How dare you?
What?
This was
It was
terrible.
not fun?
This
The movie was
discussion
bad?
was fun.
Oh, the discussion's fine. The movie was
the
bad.
movie was
Yeah,
bad.
yeah. On a Jeff Leroy scale, is this at the bottom of what we
Yeah.
see? Even below.
I can imagine there
Frankenstein?
are worst film. Yes, this is below
Yeah, that's
Frankenstein.
fair.
I did
absolutely.
did recognize one of the actors from
Werewolf,
or was it Werewolf or Frankenstein?
Maybe it's Frankenstein,
the bald
yeah.
guy who plays the cop in this film and
Yeah.
gets killed
Undercover
off pretty
cop.
early
I mean,
on.
Frankenstein had some good moments that were fun.
Well, yeah, Frankenstein
yeah.
did. This was not good.
No.
And I get it. Like, okay, we only have 2 locations. Let's craft a story. I just still feel like the decisions that were made
Made sense.
didn't make any sense.
Yeah, there was no story. That's the problem.
I don't understand the creature coming at the end, even though they failed to complete the sacrifices,
yeah.
still came and it was angry, so it
I
ate
mean,
all the witches.
They seem like they're doing pretty good with the sacrifices up to that point. I don't understand that either.
When you're one sacrifice short of 666,
Well, this is what sucks, Mark.
and you're a second late. Like it's this.
That's
like,
some bullshit.
This wall monster sounds like
Yeah.
AJ's boss right
This
now.
is
Like it's like,
some bullshit.
excuse me,
You have to edit that out.
which is we
Nah, we can leave it there.
we need to sit down and have a chat. All right.
Well,
you didn't meet your
I
quota.
want to know the time frame. When did it start? How long
I
did
think they have to do it
this?
every year.
Every year?
I think that's what they said. Like on a yearly
Wow.
basis, they
That's
have
more-
to
It
sacrifice.
seems like they're just doing it all the
666.
So at least
time.
you got to at least do 2 people a night.
That's what I.
And
yeah,
then-
that's
and
what
then
I
on
was
the-
saying.
That's
the
a
last one you
high.
gotta do
That's
three.
a high
Yeah,
bar.
it's
I don't
every
like
day.
that. I feel like you'd be better off in like a war zone or something where you just have bodies everywhere and people disappearing. Like that's where you set this up. You don't set this up
What
in
did-
L.A.
What do they do with all the bodies? They were hanging them up in
Well, they
that
can
other room.
reanimate them as
That,
themselves. I don't know.
What was that about?
Igor was chopping up bodies
And
in
doing
one
what with
shot.
I think it'd be a good black market operation for
Do
like
they eat them?
you know, for universities and stuff like that. Like that one guy was doing, he was selling bodies illegally at universities.
Yeah.
You could
Yeah.
do something like that.
for like cadaver
Yeah,
kind of stuff,
yeah.
research.
Dark-
I mean, that
dark
would
web,
be
you know?
that'd be good, but I think eyebrows would be raised.
just
when
seems
you're,
like a-
coming
yeah.
with bodies.
Well,
every
and bodies are
fucking
people are
day.
missing every day at the same club they go to. Like,
I mean, they're witches. I'm sure they can do something with the body part. They had all those body parts hanging up in
That's
the
what I'm
scene
saying
with
about- Put 'em
in a
with,
cauldron, just
clothes
with Ron
hangers.
Jeremy
Yeah.
and stuff. Like
Come
he was
up.
running through. Like, but
Yeah.
even then, that's what are you gonna do with them?
I don't know. They didn't tell us.
Maybe they were eating them because when they do give people drinks, it's like blood.
Maybe. I
What
don't
does
know.
that make them
Questions.
vampires?
We just have questions. That's the problem. Lots of
There's
questions.
too many questions.
Yeah.
There's not enough answers.
Yeah.
Not
Not a great movie.
No, there's no witch. When you think of a witch, I think of a broomstick, a cackle at times, perhaps.
Yeah, and like the fantasy element, sure. Yeah. Classic fantasy.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's even a stretch to say these were witches. You
I
could
would have
say
liked to
these were,
see like more of like a
demons.
bog witch setup where they're in the swamps and they're like
Oh, yeah.
feeding people to crocodiles
Oh,
and shit.
yeah.
That's the movie.
There's not, besides Robert Eggers,
Mhm.
the witch. What else is there that's good? 'Cause everything
Hansel
else-
and Gretel's not too bad.
Oh yeah,
But
witch
there's not
hunters.
like a well-made witch movie. That's
Are you
not,
talking
like,
about Hansel and Gretel,
sensationalized.
the Osgood Perkins
Yeah,
movie? Yeah,
yeah,
that's good too.
yeah.
Is she a witch?
Yeah.
That's a witch.
Yeah, she's a witch. She
Yeah, I
lives
guess
in
she
the
is
woods
a
in a
witch.
witch house by herself. She's
That
a
is
witch.
true. That one's good.
Mm-hmm. There are good movies out
There's
there.
lots of like love witch movies.
I mean,
Sandra Bullock. and stuff.
Hereditary is kind of like witchcraft.
That's
stuff,
more
isn't
cult.
it?
Well, you know, AMC, that's all they
I mean,
make now.
Pagan
Oh,
witchcraft
Did you know
stuff?
AMC just
I don't know if
has like
that's-
a dozen witch TV shows now?
Remember with the witch that came from the sea? We watched that.
That's a classic.
I don't know if that's about a witch or not.
Certainly about
remember?
coming from the sea, though.
I don't remember what that was about.
I'm having trouble
You
remembering.
really? I
that
think
one.
Chris blocked that episode because he was so upset about it at one point. People couldn't even
Did
watch
I?
it.
I don't know.
Yeah, it was one of the first ones you blocked.
Yeah, I blocked a lot of them.
You did.
I don't think there's any left on there, is there?
I put them back for now.
Oh.
There's some on there.
It depends on the
You should
day. how
You
it
should bring
feels.
back like the Halloween episodes that we had and stuff.
No,
Yeah.
those ones are so offensive.
We could do a Halloween
we
episode.
made fun
for
of a little
this.
kid and stuff for a while.
Yeah, we could do a Halloween.
What audience
A-
are we speaking to
AJ
right now?
was
Who,
so-
who is listening to this?
AJ was
Are
so
you-
drunk. Remember in the banana costume?
was
We're
pretty funny,
watching
though. It was
films
funny.
about people being
Yeah.
tentacle and then we're
No,
talking about
we are
it.
not.
Like, what?
No. All right, let's set the record straight. We are not watching films about that. That's you just keep coming back and talking about that for some reason.
Why am I coming back to talk about
That's the
something that happened
That's the
in a movie
question
we watched and then
between-
talked about?
That's the question
Like,
between you and your therapist. You need to see that is not what happened in this movie.
That is
It's
not
what-
for the open market.
And now I have to bleep some of that out too. How
What?
come the only time on this show that
All right,
things get
this,
bleeped out
this
is because of Mark?
rebranding that we're doing.
Because he's unfiltered.
You're not.
He's unfiltered here.
I was
appreciate it.
unaware. I was unaware.
This is why
All
we're
right.
not allowed to do live shows
All right,
because
guys.
you have to get bleeped all the time.
We got to wrap this up. We've been
What do you
talking
mean,
for a
really?
while.
No, we got
don't
5
think
minutes.
I'm
We can
that
we
Oh,
can
okay.
wrap.
I couldn't see
really
it. I'm glad you
unaware.
can.
Okay.
Okay.
There's.
You're not that
No,
offensive.
I don't think I'm not. Like,
I would
I'm
like a
being,
poll.
I'm,
I'd like
I'm
a
I would like to
being-
hear what you guys think about this format that we're doing. Have you enjoyed this? Like talking. I feel like we're more talkative like this.
I think we're having a good discussion
Yeah.
about a
Yeah, I
film
think
that really had no
a
reason
film-
to be discussed. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we did dive deep into
Yeah.
the witch's Sabbath. And
Pretty successful.
well, let me just ask you this then, AJ. Would you recommend the witch's Sabbath?
No, I wouldn't. I
No.
don't think there's very many things in here that could be recommended as enjoyable. I don't think I was bored through the movie, but there was no
Yeah.
story.
That-
you know,
That is true because usually there are movies where it's like we're just falling asleep.
yeah, we're on
and
our
shit.
phone. We're like doing other things,
And
and it's unbearable.
This wasn't that.
No.
Yeah, no.
So it did have good pacing in that way.
It had
yeah.
titillation.
And that's
in it,
true
at
with
least,
most of
you
Jeff
know.
Leroy movies. They're entertaining through.
I mean,
So.
Jeff has done probably more than a dozen films. I would rank
Yeah.
this
At the bottom somewhere.
near the bottom.
Yeah.
Near the
Maybe
bottom.
It just
maybe
seemed
one
very-
other film is
it
below
seemed very
this.
quick,
But
like,
yeah,
it was
the
made fast, for sure.
the comparison of this film to everything else we've watched by him is, I almost feel like someone else was like, "Hey Jeff, I need this movie directed. Like, I'm the producer. This is what we're doing. Can you please
Well-
direct it?" And he has his name attached to it, but
I could believe
It's-
that this movie was made in like 4 days.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, all those scenes
Yeah,
were shot in
no.
the same place
Yeah.
after each
Yeah.
other. Yeah.
while I would believe that Werewolf in a Woman's Prison, is that what it's called?
A month
Took
to make.
a month
Yeah.
because there was
Insanity.
insanity at
Yeah.
times.
I mean, they were out.
The details.
They
And
went
they-
outside.
And they built all
outside
those
in
sets
that
were
film.
made, handmade.
Yeah.
Like, that's amazing. It was
The
definitely a
werewolf
bigger budget.
costume and the transformation scenes
Yeah.
were at least one-day shoots.
I
Every
love that
time.
we're still talking
every
about
time.
this movie. It was so good.
So good.
So good.
Mark, would you recommend The Witch's Sabbath?
No. Yeah, there's just better stuff by Jeff that we've already watched, that we've already reviewed. Check those movies out. This one can be skipped
Yeah.
unless, bad boob jobs are your thing, and in which case this would be right up your alley.
Which is weird hearing that from you. I would have thought this would be right up your alley then.
All natural, baby. That's what I'm into.
This is what we have to cut all that out.
No, I think it's for the fans.
That was for the fans
yeah,
right
that's
there.
him.
That-
That's him.
That's why I'm here.
That's who
All
he
right, that's
is.
why you're listening.
Yeah.
That's why
who
you
Mark
tune
is.
in to the Mark episodes.
All right, guys.
I didn't even give my
yeah. What did you
Yeah,
think?
I would
sorry.
recommend it.
You would?
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Why?
What
I'm not gonna,
aspect?
I'm not gonna recommend this.
It's like,
This
what's
is awful.
wrong with you?
I don't honestly, looking back the last stuff we've watched in like maybe the last few years, I
Yeah.
don't know if there's one movie I would say go watch.
Between the
There
three
was
of
some
us?
stuff by
Between the three of us.
Not even that tentacle movie we watched?
Yeah,
That was
what
pretty
was-
cool.
what
The
was that
German one with
movie
the Matrix
about-
bank robbing scene and stuff?
What was the movie by that director with the guy, the invalid, and he could like
Yeah, Invalid was
telepathically project himself?
Invalid was good. Did that
That-
episode
yeah.
come out?
No, but it is slated to come out.
That was a really
Yeah.
good
That
film.
was a good
and
film.
We've seen
a
some
lot
good
of
movies.
his films, I think, are really good.
Except for that
director.
sorority one I picked that one time.
Yeah,
That was tough.
we'd watch that on the
That
podcast.
was-
Yeah.
Okay,
you know.
well,
That was worse than this film.
this
Mm-hmm.
this was a time, and this was a random pick, and
Yeah.
I regret it, but it's okay. I think it is fitting that this will probably come out around Halloween time,
Yeah.
and the movie does focus around Halloween being a pivotal
No,
part
yeah,
of
no,
the
this
plot.
is a good
And I'm excited, man.
Halloween choice.
I'm excited we found a format that we can generate more content in that works better for everybody. And I think it'll work better for a majority of listeners that tune into the podcast specifically. This will be on a separate channel for our podcast, but you should be able to find us through Bad Movie Night and whatnot.
Yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
if you're out there listening and you see, well, the runtime is probably an hour, but in reality, the runtime was an hour and a half. We just had to cut it all because of Mark.
Well, yes, that's partly true.
Mark's just completely out of the episode now.
All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us here on Garbage Day, a new podcast through the Bad Movie Night Network. If you'd like to find us online, Bad Movie Night on YouTube, badmovienight.com. Find us on our social media channels. We are on Instagram, I think, still. And join our Patreon page where you can sign up, play video games with us. You can also join the pre-show, put your movie on the wheel for the Bad Movie Night podcast, and many other cool features like the Slack.
Yeah, that's it.
Until next time.